before I start, I just want to apologize for my hair. If it looks a little weird, it's because it's still drying. But yeah, just ignore it. So today's video sort of has two parts. The first part is a review of my most recent JustFab purchase, and in the second part I will be talking about my experience returning through JustFab. So yeah, if you're most interested in learning about how returns and exchanges work, then I'll put a timestamp down below and you can just skip right to that. Or if you're interested in the shoes, that'll be right now. And if you're interested in the whole thing, obviously just keep watching. So yeah, I'll start with the shoes. So here they are. This is what they look like. I'm not sure how easily you can tell, so as you can see, they just have two little cutouts on each side. And they have this gorgeous gold hardware. Pretty sure I just completely forgot to tell you what they're called. These are called Zyree on JustFab, which is Z-Y-R-E-E, which of course I will link down below as long as they still exist. Yeah, they're just sort of ankle boots that have big chunky heels, so they're super easy to walk in. They've got the zipper up the back, which I find is probably the easiest zipper to deal with. And yeah, these cutouts, which are really, really fun, along with the pretty gold buckles on the side. And they have matching gold studs on the ends here. And yeah, just from the front, they're fairly plain. So if you wear them under like bootleg jeans or anything long enough to cover it really, then they look fairly normal, fairly average. You do generally get one of the gold buckles sticking out. But yeah, or you can just wear them with like flat socks, like the little ones that just barely cover your feet, or with nylons or bare feet if that's what you want. And you get the cutout effect with your foot, or you can wear them with black socks and they just look like a regular boot. Or I've also worn them with like stripy colorful socks, and that looks kind of fun, if a little bit less mature. But yeah, I really, really like these. One thing that I do want to note is that in heels I'm usually a 7.5, but I did go up half a size for these boots just because a lot of the reviews on the JustFab website were saying that these were a little tight, or that they did size up half a size and that they were happy that they did so. So yeah, if you are looking at getting these, especially if you have wider feet, I would suggest going up a half size, and these fit me absolutely perfectly. Also, if you ever are looking at shoes on JustFab, then make sure to check out the reviews. A lot of people leave a lot of good reviews, and so you can read through a few and see what the majority of people are saying about those shoes. But yeah, aside from them, I mean, they're a 3.5-inch heel, so they're not as short as they look. But I mean, they're completely walkable and fairly comfortable for all day. They do have a fair bit of a heel, so they are going to hurt a little, and they're not as soft inside as they could be. They could probably use some kind of insert, but I don't have one in them right now, and I mean, they're fine. The only problem I've had is a little bit of rubbing just at the back here. I'm not sure if it's the shape of my leg or the shape of the shoes and we just don't agree, or if it's actually a problem with the shoes. But yeah, I have had a little bit of blistering just up at the top where this meets my ankle. Other than that, I'm really, really happy with them. They're comfortable, they fit great, and they're really, really cute. Yeah, and I think that's about all I have to say about the boots. So I will move on to my return experience. So before I bought the Zyree boots, I bought a pair called Quora, and I will insert a picture like right here, just so you can see how gorgeous they are and why I wanted to buy them. I figured from the pictures that they looked really tall and really uncomfortable, but when I was looking at the stats on the boots, they basically said with the platform and the heel that they'd probably be like a 3.5-inch heel, maybe, like it would be less than a 4-inch heel. But yeah, someone doing their measuring didn't do a very good job, and so the platform was shorter than it sounded like it was going to be, and the heel was taller, so in the end it was almost a 4.5-inch heel. So yeah, it's a lot more than I can deal with. Like, I know a lot of people can walk in a 4.5-inch heel and they're fine with that, but I have like a pretty messed up ankle and it just can't handle that kind of torture. So yeah, needless to say, they were a waste of money for me, so I returned them. They make returns a little bit confusing, which is kind of why I wanted to talk about this. On the packing slip that you get and on the website, they make it sound like you can just go into your past orders and download a return slip, which is not the case. There's nothing there to get you a return slip. So what you have to do is you have to call them, and I believe their phone number is like 24/7, and I'm sure this is the same with the American site, but because I ordered from justfab.ca, they are within Canada, so there's not like extra charges for international calls or anything like that. Yeah, so you call them, and originally I was going to say that I wanted to exchange them for another boot. Not the Zyree ones. I was looking at another one. I believe they were called Pella. But by the time I called, they'd sold out in my size, so I couldn't get the exchange. So I just got her to refund, or like give me a credit basically. And that was no problem at all. And so she said that she was going to email me the slip and that I would just take it to the post office and mail it to them. And I thought that was a little weird because they ship out using Perolator. So I sort of clarified and was like, oh, just to the regular post office? That's all I have to do? And she's like, oh yeah, just to the local post office, it's fine. So I got the packing receipt and I printed it, and it said Perolator on it, and I took it to the post office, where of course they can't send it because they're Canada Post, they're not Perolator. So I had to go to Perolator, which wasn't a big deal because I have a Perolator and a Canada Post fairly close to my house. But I feel like that advice that the girl on the phone gave me was just a little bit faulty, because I think she should have known that she had to tell me to go to Perolator and not to my local post office, because I don't go to Perolator just to ship a letter, right? So that was a little annoying, but it wasn't a big deal for me. But yeah, when you get your packing sheet and it says Perolator, take it to Perolator. And I was really worried that I was going to have to pay for the shipping, but the label they give you is a prepaid label. So you walk in, you give them the box, and they're like, cool, good to go. And it's really quick shipping, so it gets there in about 4 business days, I believe. And then JustFab takes a couple of days to process the return, and then they give you your credit or your refund or your exchange or whatever. I don't really know how exchanges work because, again, I didn't get to do that personally. I had to wait a bit longer and look for something that I want to spend the credit on. Yeah, that's when I found these boots. So yeah, I hope that helps. In the end, I think because the original boots were one of their like luxe boots, it wasn't like their regular stuff, so it cost a bit more. So I had a regular JustFab credit, which is good for like a $39.95 pair of shoes, and then I had a little bit extra left over. So it's a little bit extra left over paid for the shipping for the second pair of shoes. So in the end, I only paid $2 extra to get shoes that I actually love. So that's pretty good. It wouldn't be quite as easy if I'd shipped back a regular pair of shoes, because I would have had to pay for shipping again. So that would have been a pain. But yeah, I think the like $9 extra for getting something you love instead of something that just isn't right is still not a bad deal. So yeah, I hope that helped you a bit. I had a pretty good experience. I wouldn't say, I mean, it's not their fault they sold out of the boots that I wanted, and it was a simple mistake to say just to take them to the post office. I mean, I'm not mad, I'm just a little concerned that she's told that to other people and it actually was a problem for them. But that's really the biggest problem I had, and since that's the biggest problem, I'm still pretty impressed. So I wouldn't say that JustFab's a bad service, and I would say that their customer service is actually really helpful. I do hope that helped you and answered some of your questions. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave them down below and I will see if I can answer them. And like I said, I will also leave a link to the shoes down below, as well as my referral link if you want to use that to sign up for the service. I would love if you would use that. It gets me $10 off my next purchase, but it also gets you 50% off your first purchase. So yeah, those links will all be down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!